But let me go back to that question. I want to boldly say this as the spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, that there are no missions around the world where a Nigerian would go and it will be pushed out. It can never happen. Diplomats, Nigerian diplomats are well trained. And we, in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, one of the issues that always takes the front burner is the need for diplomats outside to take the issue, the plight, the welfare of Nigerian citizens first and primary. Let me tell you, one of the missions I've served in the past was Paris in France. And it got to a stage that a man came who had lived in France for 17 years and said all through his 17 years, he just realized that he has wasted his life. Then we now ask a question. We've always been announcing reports to the mission whenever you come abroad. That is even the first thing that most Nigerians don't do. Once you travel out of Nigeria, you reach the shores of your destination, report to the mission. But most Nigerians don't do this for so many reasons. And so if they refuse to do it, we can only relate with those who report to the mission. Even then, like we see in the case of Libya, if you don't report to the mission and you are into crisis, we are bound, let me use that word, to attend to your issue. I've seen cases where we, diplomats in the mission, contributed money to fly back a Nigerian who was in distress. So I can say to you clearly that there is no mission where any Nigerian will be pushed back.
We get your point, and it is well taken. But concerning Libyans and Nigerians that are stuck in that country, the government has been able to identify the accessible areas where some Nigerians are situated, even though we don't know if they are able to identify if they are truly Nigerians, because they are not having identity cards on them. What about areas that are inaccessible, like the ones in the hands of the strongman, Field Marshal Haftar? Is the Nigerian Foreign Ministry, for instance, having discussions or trying to reach Field Marshal Haftar to see that Nigerians who are also within that area are not forgotten about?
Well, thank you. You see, it also brings another issue to bear, which I would like to explain. As a country, we have to be careful on so many things. For instance, there is a government that is recognized in Libya. And we as a country should deal and relate with the government that is recognized. And that is what the mission in Libya has been doing. Then, let me also add this, that the mission also will request through the recognized government to assist, to give approval for escort or whatever it is required for security, provision of security for them to go into areas that are not accessible. Now, we got the feelers, the information clearly from the mission as revealed by the Chargé d'Affaires, that sometimes they send this message to the foreign ministry, they don't receive response on time. And I'm sure that you would not want a Nigerian diplomat to force himself into an area that's not secured, so that it becomes himself a consular problem. But even then, let me say this, I've said it earlier and I want to say it again, that even then, while we recognize some of these limitations, I just said that the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Oyema, has just directed that we would have to engage United Nations, African Union, European Unions, and some other key stakeholders to see how we can have access to some of these places.
How
with their
soon
support.
do you think that those kinds of, because we know that a diplomatic process takes a lot of talk and sometimes very little
I'm happy you know that.
is done about it. So how soon do you think that even the conversation process will start?
You know, we have missions in New York, we have in Addis Ababa, and we have in European Union that is based in Brussels, and this will be working simultaneously.
When is it going to start?
Well, the minister directed that just on Monday, and I think with the minister's directive, we start working immediately.
I'm just curious. I mean, I'm sure you have heard the complaints of many Nigerians, even though you've also, shifted a part of the responsibility to them that they do not report. I mean, I don't know that when I travel out, I go and report at but I know that I have tried to access
even by call or something.
A Nigerian embassy, for instance, in the UK, and a lot of Nigerians will tell you that the attitude of embassy officials, it's very unbecoming. I don't know if you're aware of reports like this. Let's even take a simple issue as the issuance of passports. I do not know if the Nigerian, the Foreign Affairs Ministry is monitoring what is happening in its embassies concerning the issuance of passports to Nigerian citizens living outside the country. Is it a situation you're monitoring?
Thank you. We do that, and let me give you some explanations very quickly. Now, you said some Nigerians are seeing this. Those are still hearsay. You've been to the mission. You say you are in the mission. How were you treated? Tell me.
I was not even able to enter.
Why?
The doors were high and they don't answer. They don't respond to anyone.
Which of the missions?
The one in the UK.
So what now happened afterwards?
I left the place. Thankfully, I just went to visit. It was a passing visit.
Not
just to see what was going on for myself.
Okay, now let me ask a question. Do you notice maybe there is visiting time?
I will let you respond to some of these issues when we